Welcome to the Retro Blood.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood.
Yeah.
As we start off a brand new year here in 2026. Going back to our foundation over here, talking some 1980s B sci-fi critters movies to start off this new year hot, because this month we are doing Little Monster Critters Month here on the Retro Blood. We'll be talking about some of the ghoulish stuff that are happening in the 80s and possibly the 90s too, because since we are in a new year, new me, brother. All right, new me, Retro Blood. All right, we'll tell you all about that soon. But to start off this year, if y'all like space aliens that remind you of Star Wars because they're ripped off from Star Wars, if y'all like bounty hunters who turn themselves into 80s hair metal, well, I guess 80s hair rock superstar looking dudes.
Yeah.
If you like a nice little farm family who just wants to go out there and live their little farm life but get attacked by Don't Call Me Gremlins, then this is the movie for you, because the Retro Blood starting off 2026 talking all about critters.
Yeah. And they're definitely not gremlins.
They're not gremlins.
It's completely different.
Completely different.
Completely different.
J.H. Alison, James Conn, what's happening, Alison? How is your little farm life going with things from outer space attacking your farmhouse? How dare they?
Man, I actually like this movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I liked it when it was new.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. Like, I love the way the critters look.
Yeah.
This movie's pretty cool.
Yeah. Have you ever seen this before or what? This is your first time?
I saw it when it was new.
Oh, okay. You saw it when it came out. Nice.
I saw it when it came out, and I don't know if I've seen it really much since then, but it was a good refresher, and it was kind of cool to see. D. Wallace Stone is in this, which is pretty awesome.
Which we talked about her.
Yes.
We did our Howling month for our
October
reviews on there, so that was cool seeing her back on here.
Exactly, and she's usually the 1980s horror movie mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she's always usually the mom in whatever horror movie. So
it's funny where she went from like the Howling, and then she went to E.T., which is like a huge blockbuster success movie, and then we're just gonna go to Critters after that.
Because why not?
Why not? Why not, brother?
It is really strange that she did E.T., which is like the biggest movie of 1982.
Yeah, something
I guess.
like that. Yeah.
And by 1986, she was doing Critters.
Critters, man. That's how it goes. You know what I mean? You gotta keep the train rolling with that.
Yeah,
so
exactly. E.T. was in this though.
Yeah. Yeah, it has a little stuffed doll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a couple of new changes we're doing here on the Retro Blood. You know what I mean? Because we've been rocking and rolling with 80s movies for a long time. But I don't know. I think since there's so many movies we're probably going to be talking about, I mean, we actually did in the past, where they have sequels that happened in the 90s. I think for this month, we're going to try to expand the Retro Blood's years by going into the 90s. And I think for this whole month, me and Alison decided to try to do all the Critters movies. All right? So there's 2 that happened in the 80s, but there's also 2 that happened in the 90s. All right? So there's 2 reasons for this. Number one, we are kind of getting a little low on the metal and wrestling. So it'd be nice to talk about some 90s metal and wrestling on here. And then number 2 is I could not believe with my ears that Leonardo DiCaprio's first movie was in Critters, which is hilarious.
Not this one, but a different Critters.
Yeah, he's on number 3, which happened in the 90s. So we're going to talk about that. So, like I said, for this month, we're going to try it out. We're going to be doing all 4 of the Critters movies this month. So it should be pretty fun. We are still going to be doing a October series reviews. We got one lined up for this year that's going to be fantastic. But we started to start off this month kind of hot, spicing stuff up here on the Retro Blood a little bit. Okay. But the first thing is, so about this Critters movie, obviously the comparisons to the movie was that of Gremlins. You know what I mean? And, it's Gremlins at the time where it came out actually was a really big commercial success and was actually one of the most copied movies that was out there. Because there's a bunch of spinoffs from the Gremlins. You know what I mean? We got the Critters, we got the Tremors. We got just a bunch of whatever little creature monster goes, ghoulies, you know what I mean? Whatever little creature guys are out there. But apparently, before everybody all freaks out, yes, Critters was actually written before Gremlins came out.
Gremlins, yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't filmed after. Like when it aired and filmed, Gremlins is always a big success after that. So that's the two fun comparisons between the movie. But I thought they were pretty different to not be super the same.
I was gonna say they're not really that similar. I mean, Critters is about an alien invasion from outer space.
Yeah.
And Gremlins is about a cute little mogwai that turns into a gremlin that attacks people. Yeah, they're completely different stories. It's just they're little creatures that just happen to come out nearly the same time.
Yeah. That's how it goes. But, it was a big fad going on this time, having those little slimy creatures hanging around everywhere. So it'd be pretty fun month to talk about all these movies. Should be pretty interesting. But like we said last month, we're going to get back to true form on here because we are going to be talking about what is going on in the world of the pro wrestling and the metal when this movie came out. All right. So this movie, let me get my notes on here. This movie came out April 11th of 1986. All right.
Yes.
And I'll go first because mine is kind of short, but it's kind of fun.
Okay. Mine's not too long either, but that's cool. You do go first and we'll talk about mine later.
So I got a little bit of the pro wrestling and I actually have a card, a WWF card that actually happened. And I guess my home away from home now, Sydney, Australia.
Yes.
All right. So it looks like
you seem to be there a lot. Yeah.
Well, I was only there for like a month and a half, but so I'm away from home now. All right. Apparently, this was at the Entertainment Center. Drew 9,000 fans. Okay, and apparently the draw for this was they were going to have a special guest ring announcer, one Mean Gene Okerlund.
He's the main draw.
He's one of the main draws. I mean, he's on the main poster.
Wow, right. That's weird.
So it was a rock and wrestling. Because, they're big into the 80s during this portion of rock and wrestling. And it looks like the main event of this show, according to this poster on here, was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus the Magnificent Morocco with his manager, Mr. Fuji. All right. And I'm guessing that's the match that Mean Gene Okerlund introduced. Okay. So we also, this card it's kind of an interesting card for like 1986, to be honest with you. I mean, there's no Hogan, there's no Macho Man on here. There's no Andre. Like, this is a C card if there's ever one. Okay.
Yes.
I guess they thought, Sydney wasn't the draw. That, you know what I mean? But 9,000 fans, that's not bad.
That was a pretty good draw especially for the card they put on. But at the same time, maybe those top stars didn't want to fly that far. I mean, you know what that's like being on a plane going that far.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
So maybe they're just like, I don't want to go to Australia.
So the rest of the card, I mean, we have Hercules Hernandez is always one of my favorite versus Siva Alpha, George Scotland versus Matt Bourne, the future Doink.
Yeah.
Special Delivery Jones versus Steve Lombardi. All right.
Nice.
Paul Roma versus Gene Goulet. Allison's favorite, Leaping Lanny Poffalo.
Yeah.
All right. Versus Tiger Chung Lee. Imagine that. I was
about to say they didn't get Macho Man, but they got his brother though.
Third from the top brother. All right. Yeah. Corporal Kirshner versus the Iron Sheik. Well, that'd be pretty fun.
That'd have been fine. Yeah.
So out of this, Ricky, Steve, Iron. I like how I guess the main draw was seeing Mean Gene Okerlund.
I guess so. Announcing every match.
Interesting. So
they did get to see
Iron Sheik,
the Brooklyn Brawler before he was the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yep. There you go.
When he was still Steve Lombardi.
Steve Lombardi, yeah. Got a couple of ones on here, but yeah, this is definitely a C show, not even a B show. Because this is a B show, would have one huge star on here, like Warrior, or fucking Macho Man, or fucking, you know what I mean, Dusty. That's the one guy.
You think they would have? You think they would have sent somebody? Yeah, they got Ricky Dragon. Yeah, but so,
they didn't even have Harley. I think Harley races during this time too. They didn't even have him on here.
No, so I mean, yeah, that's a long time, man. That's a long time being on a plane going to Australia. So that's probably why that. Nah.
But you know, at least the main event match would have been good. Ricky Steamboat versus Magnificent Morocco. So this is definitely like a C WWF show during the golden era. But you know,
for sure,
not horrible, but not great. But then again, I'm guessing at this particular time, Australia didn't really get like the WWF like coming there like they would later on in the 90s. So,
I agree. Like they probably almost never went to Australia. I mean, that's a long ways to go, and you never know what your draw is going to be. But I mean, they drew 9,000 people. I mean, that's probably, you know, decently good. I would say. I mean, they were definitely playing shows in America that were smaller than that.
Remember that? But we talked about. Remember they would have fucking shows at high school gyms.
High school gyms
with Andre the Giant and shit. Like at least this one's 9,000. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. You would think that if they sold that many tickets, that you know, they'd be like, you know, Hogan, you need to go to this.
So, but also, what do we got for the medal? Is it that Terrence Mann guy?
So I wanted to talk about a classic.
The night's calling, creatures of the night. I'm gonna fucking
we're gonna talk about that.
That. We'll get there, guys.
But first, we are gonna talk about Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith, which I believe came out April 14th, 1986.
There you go.
So the this is probably my favorite Judas Priest album, which I want to talk about it. So it was the follow up to the Screaming for Vengeance record, which was like the album that kind of broke them in America. So that was the album that had You Got Another Thing Coming and stuff like that on it. So, you know, that's the album that made them big in America. This is a follow up to that. And it's even better. It's, you know, it's the same kind of formula. It's the sing along metal choruses, the anthemic choruses that sounds like arena rock. But it has some great songs. I mean, every song on this is really good, but it's got The Sentinel, it's got Jawbreaker, it's got Free Will Burning on it. Love Bites, which is kind of a famous song that they still do. And it's kind of notorious because it's one of those Tipper Gore Filthy 15 songs. The song Eat Me Alive was one of the songs that she listed as reasons that we needed not censorship necessarily, but parental guidance on records.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird because it's kind of funny because she thought that Eat Me Alive was about oral sex at gunpoint.
Oh, there you go.
And then I was looking at it and I'm like, there's no way. I don't know, where did she get that out of the lyrics to Eat Me Alive? Because I never actually looked at them. You know, I listened to the song. But in verse 2, he does clearly say, gun-wrenching frenzy that deranges every joint. I'm going to force you at gunpoint to eat me alive.
There you go.
So I guess you did have kind of a point there.
Yeah. But, there you go. Close.
But I guess you did have kind of a point there. But yeah, this album is fantastic. Every song on this album is good. Judas Priest is going to do an anniversary tour of it next year.
Oh wow. Okay.
This year now because we're in January. It's 2026. So they're going to do an anniversary tour of this. Where they tour playing the new album and songs from Defenders of the Faith. So third time's a charm. First time I was in the hospital. This past year I didn't get to go. This year, my goal is to see the Defenders of the Faith tour, Judas Priest.
That'd be really
we'll
fun.
see if it happens.
Who are they playing with? Are they playing with anybody or what?
No, we don't know yet. So it's not till like the summertime. So we got 6 months. Before this happens. But I just want to talk about that for a minute before we get into the movie. But I want to talk about Defenders of the Faith, which is one of my favorite Judas Priest records. And but But we've talked about Priest a lot on this show before. Yeah. But you know, we've experienced the Priest for sure.
Yeah, we'll probably play a little bit of the Priest at the end.
Yeah,
mixed in with some Terrence Mann.
Yeah, Terrence Mann.
All right.
That's so weird. This song is so odd.
It's a great song. All right. But let's get into who booked this shit of Critters.
Who booked this shit?
All right. Who made this Gremlins masterpiece over here? Or Don't Call Me Gremlins. All right.
Don't Call Me Gremlins.
All right. So a couple things about it. So this film was directed by Stephen Herrick. All right. And his directorial debut. All right. And it was co-written with Dominic Murr, who I believe played Charlie in this movie, right? Let me see. Did I get that right? No, it was Keith Ooper who played Charlie. So apparently, so that's where I got mixed up. Apparently, this Keith Ooper guy who played Charlie, you know, like the alcoholic dude. All right. Apparently, he was the brother. I think it was like one of the producers. All right. And so he also like helped write some scenes. Okay. And so this one was screenplay was by Stephen Herrick, the director, and Dominic Murr. Okay. And the story was by Dominic Murr. Okay. And basically, you know, the premise of this was like we were saying at the beginning, I guess when it came out, people thought it was like inspired by, obviously, the Gremlins. Okay. Joe Dante's version of Gremlins, obviously, the 1984 one. So Herrick had refuted this in interviews, pointing out that the script was written by Murr long before Gremlins went into production and underwent rewrites to reduce the appearance similarities between the two films. So they had to rewrite a lot of their shit because they even noticed at the time they was very close to the Gremlins. All right. So the film actually did pretty successful, $13.2 million during its release in the United States, and actually spawned a franchise that we'll be talking about for the rest of this month on Retro Blood. All right. Besides, I think there's like a Critters TV show, and there's like this other Critters movies in the 2000s. We ain't doing all that shit. We're just doing the 4 movies that spawned the 4 franchise movies.
Yeah, there is a
there's a web series.
There's a TV series that's on Shudder as well, which I haven't watched, which is a reboot.
Yeah, Critters: A New Binge. Released on Shudder. And then there's a 5th entry, Critters Attack. So we ain't doing all that, brother. We're just doing the 80s and 90s ones. All right?
Yeah.
All right, so Herrick began a friendship with Murr while working as an assistant editor on City Limits. You ever seen that? 1985?
Nope.
Neither.
Absolutely not.
When Herrick was looking for his next project, Murr offered him his screenplay for Critters, which he had written 3 years earlier. All right. After working on the script, he pitched it to Show Films because of existing working relationship to get advice on how to get the film made, and which their executives agreed to develop it. Principal photography began in Venice, California in July of 1985 on a 6-week shooting schedule. So special effects coordinator Chuck Stewart hired Joseph Lombria as a consultant for the scene of the barn exploding, where they rigged second-floor ceilings with primacord that carried explosive charge in it. The sequence of the critter swallowing a cherry bomb was controlled by a puppeteer who was positioned below a hayloft to operate the stomach and eyes moving. So some of the special effects they did on there. Crew members Dwight Roberts commented that it took some effort to coordinate the critter's bulging stomach and eyes that it kneeled over in the hay due to the number of people needing to work on it.
Yeah.
So some fun stuff about it on there.
I did want to mention too that Stephen Herrick would go on to be more popular, more famous, I guess, as the director of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yes. There you go.
So that was his next movie, which is a classic.
Very classic one on here. Also, too, I believe, and this could be for number 2, maybe, but I believe the effects team who did this movie also did Killer Clowns from Outer Space as well, too. All right.
That makes sense. I mean, I think they both have a similar aesthetic, and I like the way that both of those movies look, so that's kind of cool.
So, obviously, this movie was released by New Line Cinema, who was obviously famous for the Freddy movies.
Yep.
Nightmare on Elm Street. That's pretty much their golden goose at this particular time. But for like a non-Freddy, this did pretty good. So, kudos to them. By the way, you can find the Freddy's in our archives, but you can only find it on our Podbeam archives, by the way.
Only on the Podbeam. Why do we not go all the way back on the other things?
I don't know. I guess like after a while, like Apple and Spotify, they like take away episodes or something like that. So like on Apple and Spotify, you can go back to episode 13. But on Podbeam, you can find them all on there. Just but I'll try to upload a lot more older ones on YouTube, but it's going to take a while because we didn't do videos during that. So, but
true.
I can upload them all.
Weird. Apple just like fuck those first 12 episodes.
Yeah, I know. It's like fuck them, brother. Of course, those are ones I got to redo because they have like music in them. So
yes. So back in the outlaw days.
Back in our outlaw days, man. All right, doing it still. The cast is pretty interesting on here. Like we talked a little bit about Dee Wallace already. Obviously, she was known for doing The Howling and E.T. during this time, and she was like you were saying, she was known to be like the '80s mom during this time. Yeah. The other guy,
she was in Cujo.
Yes, Cujo. She's doing all those style movies. I do want to talk about Brad Bound, the kid that was in here, played by Scott Grimes. I don't know him for too much stuff, but he was on this show that I was watching for a while called The Oracle, which was a pretty good science fiction, kind of like a Star Trek style show. Very fun. It was a really good show. So that's what I remember seeing him from when he was growing up. But I thought he did pretty good on here. Some other stuff about it on here. Let's see. Go ahead.
While we're talking about the cast.
Yeah.
So I know you want to talk about this song later, but Ugg and Johnny Steele.
Yes, Johnny Steele
were played by an actor named Terrence Mann.
Yeah, Terrence Mann.
Now I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you that I bet you don't know.
Go ahead.
Terrence Mann is a theater professor at Western Carolina right now.
Wow. For real?
So yeah, just down the road from us.
Yeah.
Terrence Mann exists.
Holy shit, brother.
And we should try to reach out to him and see if we can get him on the show.
That'd
if
be
he'll
awesome,
come interview and talk to us about portraying Johnny Steele. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. So he's another. He's not from North Carolina originally, but he's another North Carolina resident.
That'd be
just
fun.
down the road from us. I know it's probably 30 minutes from where you live. It's probably closer than that. It's probably 30 minutes from you.
Yeah,
a little bit further from me. But yeah, he's he works at Western Carolina as a professor of theater coordinator. So that's kind of cool. He did a bunch of acting roles, smaller roles. I know him, of course, as Johnny Steele, but
yeah,
I'm sure he had much. I mean, the guy was nominated for. I mean, he was nominated for several Tony Awards and for Broadway. He did a lot of Broadway stuff. The guy is a very, very accomplished theater actor for sure. But of course, I know him from Critters.
Yeah,
naturally.
I'm pretty sure that's how. I mean, imagine going to his class. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wait a minute.
And ask him about Critters.
You look a little older, but weren't you one of them bounty cops on Critters?
Yeah, and you should get him to sing the song.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
He's actually in all four of these movies, I think.
Yeah, really. I mean, I know the Charlie guy is, but I don't know of anybody else because I've never seen all the other ones before. But we'll get into those. But that's very interesting. Like, yeah, maybe we can. That'd be awesome because that. So, did he write the song? I don't know if he even wrote the song.
I doubt he wrote the song, but he did. As far as I can understand, he did sing the song, because he's a Broadway musical guy. So I'm sure he sang the song in the movie.
Yeah, according to my notes, Terrence performed the song "Power of the Night" as Johnny Steele, especially for the movie. Mm-hmm. Power of the night, streets are calling.
It's a great song.
It's a great song, brother. But when I heard that song, when I heard that fucking bounty hunter from a ripoff of Star Wars, listened to that song and did his face started to melt, I'm like, sign me up, brother. That was one of the best scenes All right, I saw with this fucking movie. That shit was awesome. All right, and then he turned into the guy.
Exactly. Also, I was gonna say, don't forget Billy Zane. In one of his first roles, he played the girl's boyfriend in this.
Yeah.
Steve.
Steve,
I think is his name. He would go on to be in maybe more famous things. He was in Tombstone. He was in Silence of the Lambs. He was in.
Wow. There you go. Way more
different. He was in Titanic.
Damn. Okay.
He played the guy that tries to kill Leonardo DiCaprio.
There you go. There's Titanic. Your tie-in, brother.
There's your tie-in.
Are you telling me that Titanic is linked to Critters?
It is. It's the same universe.
Yeah. That's probably why the Titanic sank, because they had those little critters.
The critters caused the Titanic to sink. This is true. Most people don't know this.
Yeah. It makes sense. So a couple other things. Corey Burton, speaking of people on this movie, he's the one who voiced the critters. He also came up with their language, which he describes in interviews as combining elements of French and Japanese. That's fancy.
Weird. I know him most because he played Megatron in the Transformers TV show.
There you go. That's a great.
He also was in Clone Wars. I believe he played Count Dooku, possibly.
Okay. So a lot of good roles he did.
So he had a lot of good roles. Yeah. So exactly.
So Charles,
he's a very astute voice actor.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't really tell from this movie because it was just a made up language, but I thought that was pretty neat that they had their own language and they had the subtitles, so we knew what they were saying. I like it. I like it how they have an alien language for fuck. So,
yes. Well, that was really good. I mean, that's you gotta that's the same in every language, right? Yeah. Like it's the ultimate modifier. Yeah, it's universal.
So we had the one of the designers, Charles Chibodeau, based the design of the critters on the Looney Tunes character, the Tasmanian Devil.
I did not know that, but I can absolutely see that. Yeah. I mean, he looks like the Tasmanian Devil for sure. I love that character.
So apparently Grover's Bend, the town where most of the critters took place, is a nod to the infamous 1938 radio broadcast of World of Words by Orson Welles.
Right? Weird. Okay.
The broadcast reported aliens were landing in Grover's Mill.
Grover's Mill, yeah.
Was performed so well that thousands of listeners believed the fake news report was true, which was real. Which is a great news broadcast and also a great vinyl record.
Yes. If you haven't heard it, it's really cool to listen to that and to think that people actually thought that aliens were invading. Yes. Because it was a different time. Now we just believe what AI tells us.
Yes.
Which is also just as equally false.
Exactly. Out of my very limited vinyl collection, I do have that record still in the
That's
collection.
Awesome. That's awesome. I'd love to hear that again.
So the logo on the back of the bowling uniforms is a parody of the iconic Ghostbusters 1984 emblem. The colors of the uniform match the colors of Egon Spielberg's uniform, the real Ghostbusters animated series.
Interesting.
And we already talked about the E.T. doll being in here. All right. Okay, so yes. Apparently, okay, you're correct. And I guess we'll see them more in here. So we have the Charles and the rocker dude. All right,
Johnny Steele.
Cooper, Johnny Steele, and Terrence Mann were the only actors to appear in all four of those. So we'll be seeing them all this month. All right. The toy that Brad blows up at the farm is a Star Wars Episode 4: New Hope, Y-wing painted silver. So,
weird. Okay. Yeah. So they actually used an actual Star Wars toy.
Yeah, to blow it up
as a prop in this movie. Okay. Well, and I mean, not everybody has a Star Wars budget. You gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do to get your movie made. You know what that means.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So they're just saying also too that Brad's cat name was Chewie, obviously from Chewbacca. All right.
Yeah, Star Wars. It's really people today underestimate how much of an influence Star Wars had on every single thing in the 80s in America. Every single thing was Star Wars influenced. It was like the biggest thing there was.
So there's a bunch of more stuff on here. Let me find something fun. All right, so the entire The Critters effect was designed and constructed for only $100,000. A fraction of the film's total $2 million budget. In addition to that, the special effects crew only had 10 weeks to devise the effects. The Critters, or Crates, as named in the script, were designed by Charles Trudeau, has monsters with small limbs, large maws with triple rows of teeth, and growling red eyes. I did like the red eyes on the little critter things. I thought that part was really cool.
Yes, yeah.
Now, I heard that the critter that we got at the end, the huge one, I heard that one doesn't come back, or they don't really explain that, but we'll see that in the sequels if they do or not. But I heard like that one's not really too much explained on here. Let's see. Okay. So the tight production schedule also meant that a conventional form latex skin for the creatures, the industrial standard at the time, would be too time consuming.
Okay.
Since it's necessary at least a day to be fully prepared. So the brothers, though, devised a less expensive and quicker solution, a thin latex skin laid over a 2-part foam, which only needed a few minutes to set and was also more realistic. So they said it was not as flexible as regular foam, said Charlie, but it lasts forever. With this, the special effects crew was able to pull up to 6 critters' bodies per day. The skins were painted with rubber cement paint and covered with real moose hair, which the brothers obtained from a taxidermist. All right.
Okay.
Charlie explained. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask a question. So that's interesting. So I did not know that. So they had to remake critters all the time.
Yeah.
Like I just assumed that they just made a few and then that's how many they had.
No,
but they have to remake them like daily or whatever. Interesting.
It's probably because you know how it's probably when some of them blow up and stuff. They probably had to do they had to do multiple shots to get the right angle. So none of the synthetic stuff looked good to me. It was expensive and the hide is thick and tougher to work with, but it looks like a real animal. So that's a couple little stuff about the Critters movie, behind the scenes stuff on there. Obviously, apparently in the sequel that we're going to be talking about next week, a little bit more stuff is explored. So we'll talk about that a bit more on the, like they gave us the bounty hunters' names, stuff like that is on there. So, but everybody, are you all ready for the first review of 2026? Let's get into Critters.
Yeah.
Of all the planets in the galaxy, they chose ours. They hide in small places.
This phone is dead.
What? They light the dark.
Jay, any luck?
Just a minute.
There's nothing cute about them. They've come a long way, and they're hungry. Critters. They bite.
All right. So we start off and we're in 1980s outer space, which is a fun place to be. I always love seeing 80s outer space. Right?
I love this. I love the physical special effects they use, because now all that would just be CGI.
Yeah.
It looked like shit.
It looked like shit.
But these are actually model spaceships, and in one case, apparently an actual toy, literal toy.
Yeah.
But I just think it's cool. I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
So we're on a asteroid prison. All right. And there's a group of some dangerous aliens known as crates. All
yes.
right? And they're set to be transported to another station. The crates engineer and escape, and they hijack a ship. All right. So now we have the warden, who looks something exactly from fucking Star Wars, or he looks kind of like that guy from X-Men with the thing in his stomach. That's floating. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
the floating guy.
I thought.
What's his name again? I forgot.
You would have put me on the spot. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
He was in that X-Men.
Mojo?
Yeah, Mojo. That's what it is.
Mojo, yeah.
He was in that really
pulled
cool.
that out of my ass. But
he was in that really cool X-Men episode in the 90s and shit. I don't know. So apparently he's the warden, and he's telling them that these crates stole a ship that they can fly around the whole universe like 10 times over.
Yeah.
And he was all like, it's not fuel they're looking for. What are they looking for? So then he hires some bounty hunters. And I was just like, and when I was watching this, Alison, I don't know if you got, I was like, people thought this is Gremlins. I thought it was like a ripoff of Star Wars, brother, when I was watching this.
I think it's more like Star Wars than it is Gremlins for sure.
Now, obviously later on in the movie, I guess we'll get more like the Gremlins feel to it. But right now, I'm just like, brother, come on now. So we have two bounty hunters who apparently can change their face, but we're going to find out later on they can actually change their shape of their body too. Okay. We don't get their names in this one, but their names are Ugg and Lee.
Yes. Right? Ugg.
Yes.
Sorry. It cracks me up every time.
So they kind of track the ship to Earth, basically.
Yeah.
All right. And so this is when we kind of cut. Now we're meeting the whole family. All right. It's a nice little Kansas farm family. Yep. All right. The Brown family. They all sit down to have some breakfast. The father's Jay, good old country boy. Mother's Helen, nice little farm lady. The daughter's April. She is in her teen years, waiting to get some in the barn. And then we have Brad trying to do the old skipping out of school by pretending you have a fever deal.
Yes.
All right. So you know, we kind of show a little bit footage of them for a while, just kind of doing their normal family stuff. They catch basically the daughter is going out with a new boyfriend. All right, so they want to meet the new boyfriend, and then Brad, they denied him of like staying at home because they knew he was faking being sick. All right. So they're waiting on the mechanic Charlie McFadden, who we find out that Charlie is a drunk conspiracy guy.
That about sums it up. Yeah.
Where like he feels the aliens are coming, and the way he can feel that is from his teeth. All right.
Okay. Sure.
So Charlie is now the town drunk and crackpot. All right. So now we cut to the Ugg and Lee. They are heading to Earth, but they need to disguise themselves to fit in. All right. So they start watching world history that's happened all the way up until 1980. And one of them, I'm not sure which one, stops on the rocker Johnny Steele. And out of the whole history of Earth up until 1986, this guy was like, you know what? Fuck, you know, this is my man right here. This Johnny Steele guy is my man. His song, Creatures of the Night. Creatures calling. The night's call. I don't even know the whole song, but it's calling of the night. You know what I mean? He watched that video and he's just like, you know what? I'm going to be this motherfucker.
I'm going to be that guy. I think it's not strange, but it's funny that, so the other guy takes forever to pick a body, right? and he picked like 3 different ones.
Well, he said nothing.
This movie.
He said out of
but
the whole earth.
Like, nope.
Yeah. Well, the other guy,
like, no, I want that guy.
The other guy said out of the whole earth, nothing was calling to him until we found that dead cop.
Until yeah, and he's like, I'll just be the dead cop.
So what you know what that tells me? That tells me they didn't have any budget. So now, basically, right now we're doing some scenes over here. So basically, Charlie gets released from the jail, okay, where the lady who was in the jail, she was reading a conspiracy newspaper, saying that John Travolta, all right, is what was he doing? It was like something about John Travolta being like some alien or something like that. All right. Yes. So they're trying to be a little funny on here. This is when we find Charlie can find aliens through his teeth, and then the main cop, sheriff guy, doesn't believe him, tells him to get out of here. All right. This is when we also see them back on the farm, and we have Charlie and Brad. They get along, okay, and Charlie's going to be using the slingshot, but he accidentally slingshots the daughter in her ass, and the girl gets all mad, and then they all blame it on Brad for doing it.
Well, Brad kind of takes the blame for it.
Yeah, he takes the blame.
So Charlie doesn't get fired.
Yes. So this is when April introduces us to her squeeze. Okay, the Steve guy.
Yeah.
All right, and they're having dinner and stuff, and you know Steve is trying to be all cool and stuff about it, but the dad's trying to get on to him like normal dads do. You know what I mean? He even inspects his car, and he asks him in his car, "How are you supposed to put hay in your fucking car?" All right.
That was pretty funny when he's like, I don't think this is gonna this thing's gonna hold a whole lot of hay, and ST's like, I guess it won't.
I guess it won't.
He would never even think about that.
Apparently his car was some sort of Porsche.
Yeah.
For the time. So they're all having dinner, and you can now see that April, she might be a little frisky over there.
Yeah, maybe.
So, and then the dad right now is actually planning to go bowling with his friends. All right. So basically, April and Steve leave, even though the dad wanted them to watch him play bowling, but they leave. And then the dad goes up to Brad, gives him a plate of dinner, saying that he's grounded for messing with your sister. All right. So he's grounded for 2 weeks with no movies. So that sucks. And then he takes away the slingshot. All right.
It's a weird random thing, but
yes.
No movies.
No movies, brother. Well, that's what you do. You punish the kid. You don't give him no movies. All right. So then now Brad wants to, I guess, mess with his sister because he's trying to go buy the farm or get out of the room. And then while Brad is on the roof, the dad hears a noise and he looks out, and this is when we get the huge spaceship. All right?
Yeah.
That comes to him. So the first person who sees the spaceship, of course, is the crazy man, Charles.
Of course.
Because he was about to leave Kansas to go somewhere else, I guess. But then he saw the spaceship and he started to ride back into town. So then the dad and both Brad see it, and then the dad looks around and sees what's going on. So then now Brad... basically, Brad and the dad, they find each other, and the dad tells them to come down out of the tree, and they eventually go over and they see the stolen ship that was there. Okay, and they also see that there's they discover a cow that's been pretty much eaten by the critters, and now they know they have a little bit of a problem going on over here. And while this is happening, Helen is in the doing some dishes and stuff, and she gets scared, and then she eventually sees the critter's red eyes through the window, which I thought that was a pretty cool scene.
That's a really cool look. I really like the way that scene looks.
Yeah, and then during this is when we see that the critters have killed a local police officer. All right, who is supposed to be on duty. I think his name was Jeff. He's supposed to be on duty, and this is where the bounty hunter, who nothing in world history was like, he couldn't be David Bowie or anything. Nothing in world history until this guy was dead on the floor was calling to him.
Yeah.
So that's what he took up. All right. So now now we can see that the electricity of the farmhouse is cut off because the critters go down to the basement area and start chewing up a bunch of stuff. All right. So Jay, the dad, is now there. All right. And he goes down there and he sees one of the critters and then he eventually gets attacked by them. All right. Because there's a couple on him. Like one gets his shoulder and shit. All right. So he's wounded and stuff, but he's not dead. They kind of get him out of there. All right. But they take him back to the house and he just barely manages to escape. So during all this, April and Steve, they are in the bar, and April, she just wants to make out and do some, some
teenager shit.
Some teenager shit, brother. And Steve is all, your dad's gonna kill me. She's like, oh, they don't come to the bar in here. Don't worry about it. All right. So while this is all happening, they eventually get attacked by a critter or a crate, whatever you want to call them at this particular time. Because he tries to put the little record on to change the song.
Yes.
He was doing the night song, all right, but he's trying to put it on to another Johnny Steele classic. Because if you're going to have some sex, brother, might as well just put some Johnny Steele on there.
Exactly. You know Johnny Steele is the man.
I mean, come on now. So before he could change it, the critter bites his hand off, and then he eventually bites his guts, and then April, she gets on out of there. All right. So while this is happening, Brad comes in there and he could hear her screaming and stuff. So he shows up and then he eventually gets to kill one of the critters by lighting a firecracker in his gut. All right.
Yes.
So apparently the critters also too, they take the Brown and Steve's car. The cars are all broken and stuff. So now the family has to take some shelter within the house. All right. Mm-hmm. And this is where we get a really funny scene where, I guess Helen's trying to use the shotgun. All right. So they go inside and then one of the critters tells each other like, hey, I think I got some weapons. And the critter's like, oh, we don't care. And then Helen comes out with a shotgun and shoots him. And then the critter's like, oh, fuck. All right.
That was fantastic. Yeah. I love that. I love how they give personality to the critters.
Yeah, I like it.
And I really think that that's Corey, part of Corey Burton's vocalizations that he used, even though he's using a made up language, it still sounds cool because he gives them like personality.
Yeah. So meanwhile, the bounty hunters have now turned into the Terminator.
Yes.
All right, because now they take the cop's car where they can't drive it for some reason, even though they studied all of human history. I guess they didn't get it. I guess during their vast research, learning how to drive wasn't one of them. And then one of them also shoots off the shotgun too in the car.
Mm.
So
yeah, they seem to not understand a lot.
Out of all human Earth history, we couldn't figure out how to use a gun in a car.
No.
Right? So they go up to a church for some reason. They run into this church. They walk in. Everybody kind of notices the cop, Jeff, like, what the hell are you doing? And then they keep asking for the crates. Nobody knows what it is. So they start shooting up the place with their 1980s cannons. Laser cannons.
Laser cannons, yeah.
All right. So they do this one. They later come back and do the bowling alley, too. I do like the bowling alley scene where they walk in. And I believe when they do the bowling alley scene, so one of them keeps changing their face. Like one of them stays Johnny Steele because they're connected. But the other one, like I think the other one takes the preacher and then eventually takes Charles's face.
Yeah, which is, I think goes back to like your question about budget because they didn't really have an actor for the second bounty hunter.
They just reused what they had.
They just reused 3 of the ones that they had already.
I do like it though when the guy goes into because the bowling team, how it connects is they're waiting for Jay to show up. You know what I mean? And they don't know where the fuck this guy is. There's like he's never late and stuff, but he's gonna have to buy his beer when he gets here because he's late.
Right. Exactly.
But obviously Jay's too busy getting attacked by the crates. All right. So I do like it when they're in the bowling alley and they just walk in, everybody's looking at them all weird, and then the Johnny Steele one just takes a bowling ball, looks at it, and then throws it, and then it smashes the pins. And the guys are like, man, I wonder what team he's on. That was a good one.
Wow.
All right. So now the town has now decided to call the sheriff in, wake him up. All right, and they're noticing that they're having a panic at the church, and they're having a panic at the bowling alley. And he's just basically telling them to spit it out, and he's telling them like, "Hey, it's the local guy is doing this. I guess he's going crazy because they don't know. You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
So, because now they're basically saying Charlie now is one of the guys who's going crazy, basically. Okay, because remember the one bounty hunter took over Charlie's face, and Charlie saw that. He was in the bowling alley with them, but he actually escaped and got out of there. All right. All right, so now we're having some of the crates trying to attack the family. All right. Basically, what they're trying to do now is they're all kind of like locked up in a room, and Charlie's all like, "Hey, I can go," or not Charlie, but Brad. Okay, says he can escape through his bike and go get some help, basically from the neighbor down the ways, because the dad can't move because he's torn up. All right, the mom is a little torn up too, and then the sister is a little torn up. So Brad's the only one that could kind of do it at this time. Okay. So while doing this, Brad escapes and stuff, and he eventually runs into the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
All right.
And he's which is convenient, right? Yes. So he runs to the bounty hunters so that they can come kill the crates.
Yep. So there's a couple of dialogue between them. He knows one of them's Charlie. He's like, wait a minute, aren't you Johnny Steele? All right. He's like, what the hell are you doing here?
So
and they're both in the cop car.
So he immediately thinks that Charlie is teaming up with Johnny Steele.
Yes.
For whatever reason, right? That's the first thing that pops into his head.
Yes.
And he doesn't notice that either one of them are dressed really weird like alien bounty hunters, but whatever.
So he's in the cop car talking to him, and they're like, "Take us to the crates." He's like, "Crates? What do you mean, critters? They're at my house."
Yeah.
All right. And then there's like onward and forward. They don't know what he's talking about. And he's like, "All right, I will help you all if you help me, even though you're all acting weird."
Right.
So they eventually go to the house. Okay. So during this time, the crates, like there's like this montage scene with the critters that obviously they're like tearing up pillows, they're tearing up toys, they're tearing up the house. That is I think that scene right there, that's like, okay, this movie's like a Gremlins style movie. I think because they had that scene still in the movie. That's why people were probably thinking Gremlins, because that was a very Gremlins-like scene that we got there. Like when they were tearing up the E.T. and stuff like that. So they're doing all that, and then they're trying to find like different ways to get the family. I think they get Helen's neck for a little bit, so she's kind of passed out. And then eventually one of them just like turns huge. Like, did he drink? Because I know in Gremlins, like, what if you drink water or whatever, you turn into like a crazy one. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. When the Mogwai drinks or gets water spilled on him, it makes more of them, and then if they eat after midnight, they become gremlins.
Yes.
But in this one, he just grows huge for.
It just grows, yes. And I don't think that's explored later on, but we'll see when we do the other ones. So basically, they're trying to escape him. All right, and eventually the sheriff shows up to the house, okay, and all the bounty hunters and stuff are at the house now, and the bounty hunters come in and they just start shooting up the house, brother. Every time they see a critter, they would just shoot it with their cannons. All right, so this causes the family to leave the house, and the family runs into the cop, all right, the sheriff guy, and the sheriff guy tries to go to talk to the Charlie one. Being like, "Hey Charlie, what the hell are you doing? You drunk?" All right, and then and then the bounty hunter grabs up the sheriff, like holds him up like the Undertaker, you know what I mean, on the neck.
Right.
And he's all like, he's kind of freaked out about it, and then he pushes him out of there, and then they start hunting for more of the critters. Okay, but Brad wants to save Chewie, the cat, so Brad goes back into the house. All right, and basically Brad and the bounty hunters are kind of like teaming up a little bit. So every time they see a critter, he would tell the Johnny Steele one to shoot it, like when they did it out of the tub, the toilet. Yeah, you know what I mean. They did it out of that one.
Yeah, exactly.
You ever shoot a critter out of a toilet?
Man, it just makes such a mess when you do.
It's true. There was no blood when they shot him though. Did you notice that? There was no like alien blood or anything like that. They just kind of exploded.
Well, maybe they don't really have blood. Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when he ate the firecracker, right? Like he just ate it and then he exploded on the inside, and I guess it killed him, but he didn't like explode on the outside.
Yeah.
They're aliens.
So now one of the critters gets out of there. I think it's the big one, and they actually grab April. All right, because when they come outside, the bounty hunters and Brad, they see the families on the floor and stuff, and the cop basically says like, "Hey, one of them grabbed him and stuff. He was huge and he came out of nowhere." Okay,
right.
And then they're basically going to be taking April back on the ship. Okay, so. And then they're trying to flee out of there. All right. So now Charlie, the real Charlie, and Brad meet up with each other. All right. And then they come up with the plan to try to rescue April. Okay. Because Brad takes off on his bike while the rest of the family are going to go in the cars. But the cop car that the bounty hunters were using didn't work. So they all gathered into the car together. And they all did it super slow. All right, to fill up time. All right.
Yeah.
So Brad runs into Charlie. They see that the April's been taken to the ship. Charlie tries to go into the ship to try to grab April. All right, but he is attacked by one of the critters, and he has to leave. But he drops a firecracker.
Right.
In there. All right. They eventually grab April, get her out of there. They come up. Charlie comes up to the plan to use a Molotov cocktail and throw it in the ship, which he does successfully.
Mm-hmm.
But before all this happens, the critter decides to blow up the farmhouse, the smithereens. All right?
Yes.
And then while they do this, they notice like, oh shit, there's a firecracker in here with a liquored flame bottle, and that is going to be such a whirlwind of explosions that's going to blow up our vast technological ship that can go through the universe 10 times over. This small little firecracker is going to blow it up.
Yeah, I thought that was a really anticlimactic way to end. So they're so powerful they can blow up the entire like farm with this spaceship. But then a Molotov cocktail will blow their spaceship up entirely. It was very weak on the inside.
And it kills everybody in the critters.
Apparently.
So the bounty hunters are all happy because remember, their job is just if these things die, we get our money.
Yeah.
So Brad wants to be in contact with them, so they give him a little transmitter. So they all go back to the farmhouse. They're all hanging out. And apparently these bounty hunters were nice, even though they were shooting up the town for half of the movie. And they decided to rebuild the farmhouse by using the instant replay. Or no, they used the rewind button.
I saw that. So it's just this magical power they have, right? They can rebuild the farmhouse. How convenient.
Yes.
For these people so they don't lose their house.
So now Charlie goes with them. With the bounty hunter saying like, hey, y'all need someone to take care of your cannons and shit like that. I'll do it. So apparently he goes with them.
That only makes sense though, right? Yes. That Charlie would go with them.
And the family's all happy and everything. Brad has his little communicator. And then we cut to the barn house and we see that there's some critter eggs that were laid.
For our sequel that we actually will get this time.
Yes, the sequel that we will get. And apparently we're going to get a whole franchise. So
apparently I've never seen anything past Critters 1. So we'll see how the other ones,
should be pretty fun.
How this goes. Yeah.
Well, that'll be it. And we'll be doing Critters 2 next week here on the Retro Blood. Should be a fun one. This movie is like, I heard number 2, explores some stuff a lot more. So we'll see how that goes.
Like it explores the lore of the critters.
The lores, and there's like more like action shit to it. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm excited about that because I actually like the concept of the critters. I thought they look cool. I like that they're little creatures that pilot spaceships. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I like it when aliens don't look like humans.
Yes.
in science fiction movies. Like, they don't just look like a human with a weird face or something. Like, they're completely alien. They're completely different. Yeah. And they can fly spaceships, and then they eat shit. And but I'm kind of pulling for the critters, though. Like, it's like one of those things where, like, I have a feeling, and we'll see if this actually holds true, but I have a feeling that the critters are going to become like the faces of the thing pretty soon. Like, they're people. They're still going to be the bad guys, I guess, but people are going to pull for the critters to eat the humans instead of.
I'm guessing
pulling for the humans.
I'm probably guessing that's going to happen by at least number 3.
Yeah, at least by number 3.
It usually happens pretty quickly on these multiple movie ones. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree.
But everybody, thanks for joining us here on the first review of 2026.
Yeah.
All right. We got a big month for y'all planned. Like I said, we're doing stuff a little different. We're expanding the retro blood, which is always fun to do. You know what I mean? We'll try it out for a little while, see how we all like it. You know what I mean? I think it'll be pretty fun.
We still have plenty of 80s movies to do, though, and we're gonna do those. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're gonna do those too. So we're gonna do a big mixture.
Yeah,
of both this stuff, just when it makes sense. But to get us on out of here, Alison, what Judas Priest song do you want to play for everybody?
Oh, I want to play my favorite Judas Priest song, which is The Sentinel.
Ooh, The Sentinel. That's a good one to play. All right. There's a couple. Well, you think that Warren guy? He was kind of like a sentinel, I guess. You know
he was kind of a sentinel, and Charlie's definitely a sentinel because he's like, he's telling all of them that the aliens are coming, and I have a feeling that Charlie predicted that the aliens were coming for a long time, and he was finally right. But at least this time he was right.
That time he was right, brother. And of course, just because of my own pleasure of this song, we will do the Powers of the Night after the Sentinel.
Powers of the Night.
Get 2 songs. Y'all get 2 songs.
Yeah, we get 2 songs
on here, brother. All right. But everybody, thanks for joining us on the Retro Blood. Like I said, check us out. Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, Apple, all of this stuff. Anywhere you get your podcast from, we're on here. Like, subscribe, comment below. Talk about the reviews if y'all liked it. Give your thoughts of the movie as well, too. The more comments, the merrier. We'll respond to them the best we can. But everybody, thanks for joining us, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's going to be a fun one this year, brother. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be great. It's going to be the best year yet.
It's true. But everybody, James Klein, J.H. Alison, we will see you here next week for Critters 2, brother.
Yeah.
They're back. All right? They're back in action.
Yes, it'll be great.
All right, later.